Hey Verm here, back again with another video here on the channel. And we've got a cash build here. And this build is all about pumping out those juicy amp shots from gloam to glow. A lot of overshield, a lot of damage, constant fortune, constant gun damage, constant fire rate, everything. A standard gun build for cash. So let's just get into the nitty gritty and waste less of your guys' time. Oh, and the build is called Glowmbot. I didn't think of any better name to call it, so Glowmbot it is. So yeah, onto the build itself, and the build consists of pumping out as much of gloam to glow shots. that's a mouthful. As fast as humanly possible. So our best friends are going to be high pellet count weapons like Hellwalker and Convergence, anything like ×5, ×3. Just get them high pellet count weapons, and weapons that just have high fire rate, like the Lucian's Flank, and the newly released Cyclone from the new DLC. And that's like the gist of it, really. So weapons that have high fire rate, high damage, high pellet count will be your best friends. Give me a minute here. Right, so, yeah, as I was saying, high pellet count weapons or high fire weapons will be our best options, because considering each shot will be amped from gloam to glow, so the higher the fire rate, the faster those amp shots are being pumped out. So, again, XXL is a good option, Rainmaker is especially a good option if you happen to get a shotgun ammo version like I did here, and that's the gist of it. Roulette would be a better choice, but the build does benefit from weapons that are elemental. We'll get to that in the skill section, but there is a skill that reads as follows. Your elemental damage is converted into kinetic damage, and the conversion is increased, so it gives you more damage. So yeah, you would want to focus on getting elemental weapons instead of kinetic weapons. The kinetic weapons will still do fine, but there are just more DPS gains from using elemental weapons. So that's pretty much the gist of it. So the roulette would be better if it were fire, but it's very, very seriously crapped by it being kinetic. So yeah. For enhancements, just look for anything Jacobs and Ripper if you can. Ripper will be your best friend because, again, more fire rate, and also I do believe it gives a small DPS boost to the gun stats as well. So I think that's correct. So yeah, other than that, just use any gun you really please. Doesn't really matter. Just use elemental weapons that have high fire rate, good damage, high pellet count. The rest is pretty self-explanatory. And I gotta admit, I've been loving the ACMA as of late. If you happen to get an ACMA with SMG ammo or sniper ammo, trust me when I say it gets pretty cracked. I'll have some gameplay on the screen. It's pretty nutty. It drops from RJ at the end of the game. So there's a big encore going on this week, so make sure you get this. It's really good. I feel like it's a very slept-on weapon. So yeah, I thought I'd just do a little glaze session here. So yeah, okay, moving on. Oh, and Convergence is going to be your best friend, by the way, for bossing. This is really good for bossing. Good boss. So on to the bottom section here, we have the Dribble Bypass as our main rep kit. This is a pretty good all-rounder rep kit for good uptime on healing and good uptime on damage, because it has free charges, and every time you get a kill, you can get the charge back. And for bossing, the Warpaint will be the go-to for bossing. You get 30% fire rate, which complements the build really well, considering more fire rate, more, pumping out those amp shots from gloam to glow. Get Enrage on it, and yeah, good damage. I feel like this is going to be an ongoing bit. The Ordnance is going to be the knife. Damage amp. Target gets more damage. Penetrator, the target gets crit more often. I think you get it, right? Oh, and more options. What else you could use? The Slippy is pretty good for proccing, CQC. Yep, which does give you 30% more fire rate, which again, high fire rate complements the build really well. So keep that in mind. So moving on to the class mod, and I think the centerpiece of this build, if this class mod were not here, this build would not exist. It is the Wind Rider. Our build is all about getting fortune stacks and losing fortune stacks. For what purpose, you might ask? Well, it's pretty simple. Gloam to Glow reads, whenever Cash loses a fortune stack, shots from his gun deal bonus damage equal to his overshield. The class mod makes it so when we kill an enemy with a critical hit, we double our fortune stacks. But if we kill an enemy with a gun, no crits, we lose half of our fortune stacks. And also, when we lose a fortune stack, we gain overshield. So, pretty obvious why this interaction works so well. And you may be wondering, but how are you getting your stacks back? How are you getting your fortune stacks back? How are you obtaining them? How do you have like infinite fortune stacks all the time? Pretty easy. It is Dirty Dozen. Cash's minimum fortune stack count is based on how many active totems he has. If your class mod happens to roll 3 out of 3 into the dealer's bluff or 2 out of 3, it doesn't really matter as long as you get a point into dealer's bluff. That will make it so that when we earn a fortune stack, we restore our action skill cooldown. So this is making us be able to spam a ton of our totems out, and if we have like a minimum of 4 out, we'll always have fortune stacks. We'll never be like at 0 or 1 or 2, always above 4, and at 10 plus seconds, we'll be always at 10 stacks and always at the maximum stack count for fortune. So that's the whole interaction. I hope I worded it well. I hope you guys understood what I meant. But with the rolls you're looking for the Wind Rider, as much points as to from Gloam to Glow as possible, because again, more damage. And this is a must. Points into dealer's bluff. Mine rolled like this. I got I just got the blur of fingers and brass thing. I don't know. It's cool. It's there. Other than that, look for a good passive. Mine has status effect damage, not the ideal roll, but again, I'll take what I can get. We are already doing a lot of damage to begin with, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be dandy. The shield of choice will be the What's for Dinner. Gloam to Glow is all about that overshield. So the more overshield we have, the more amp damage we do. And look at that. What's for Dinner gives us overshield. It can roll with amp. But with the rolls for the shield itself, you will need Siphon. Do not get a 150 gun amp one. You will drain your overshield and you will not be able to maintain it. Trust me, I tried. It's not worth it. We're doing a lot of damage to begin with. The 150% gun damage we can skip in favor of uptime of Fortune. And the enhancements, I should say, are the Jacob's Legendary Enhancement, where it's just, a good one for mobbing. Most of our enhancements are already Jacob's, so this will just help us with mobbing, getting that stacking critical hit damage and the ricochets. For bossing, however, we do want a Ripper one, because again, when we're bossing, we are mainly using Ripper weapons, so increasing the damage of the Ripper mags and the Ripper parted weapons is a no-brainer. I did not roll the second roll where it's like a stacking damage one. I don't know what it's called right now, but I have the freeloader, which actually is nothing for me. So yeah, just look for good passives, but you're most likely just going to be looking for a Ripper enhancement altogether. So look for Hard Charger, and this one I'll put on screen here. Look for this one. Hard Charger and So the firmware is as follows. We are going free into Deadeye, because again, a good damage all-round firmware. Critical hit stacking, critical hit damage, gun accuracy, no-brainer. Bit of a wild card here. I'm going 1 into Godkiller and 1 into Bullets to Spare. Bullets to Spare for, gun fire rate, which again, more fire rate, more Gloam to Glow shots, right? Sure, yeah, hell yeah. And Godkiller for that 10% multiplier damage to badass enemies, which, by the way, it's kind of worded weirdly here. It says its damage dealt to badass enemies is increased by 10%, which actually it's badass enemies and bosses, because bosses count as badass enemies. So getting that 10% multiplier is really huge for us. You might be wondering, why aren't you going high caliber? You could go high caliber, or you could go anything else really. You could go 2 out of 3 into high cal, I didn't. So yeah, that is my firmware situation. So yeah, welcome on into the skills section. If you made it here, I appreciate you being here. Maybe leave like a like and a sub on the way out of the video. I'd appreciate it. You are awesome and I cherish you a lot. Great things will happen if you do that, please. Like and subscribe. Okay, whatever. Yes, the skills. Our main spec is red tree. Second spec is a little bit of green. And third is blue. Unleash 5 out of 5 for more fire rate, which again, more fire rate equals more shots from gloam to glow. 4 out of 5 into stand and bleed for that critical hit chance with our action skills and guns. This is kind of this is a good skill, but we don't max it out because we are gaining that extra 2% from this skill here. So I just thought that just putting 1 point into here, your Huckleberry, giving us that 4% crit chance is, you know, pretty nice. Getting Devil's Tines for an extra augment slot, which will tailor into our build in just a minute when I get to the green tree. And the rest of the points into Hot Hand to get down the branch, simply because it benefits a lot of different guns, especially Ripper mags or Lucian's Flask, Roulettes, etc., which does give us more of that bonus fire damage, which will get converted into kinetic damage. We'll get to that when we get to that. I mean, you could put into Trick Shot. I kind of experimented by putting it into Trick Shot and, you know, 1 pointer into Hot Hand, but I just don't see the value in Trick Shot. It's good for mobbing. Yes, it's good for mobbing, but for bossing, it doesn't really do that much, I don't think. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But this is all personal preference. You could put free into Trick Shot for just, you know, quality of life for mobbing, or if you like bossing, go for the Hot Hand route. It's kind of up to you. You're not going to notice that much of a DPS increase or decrease, just up to you, personal preference. So yeah, moving on to the middle branch here, the middle of the skill tree. We will be putting 5 out of 5 into Lawless for that increased kinetic damage, which, again, it is the main juice of the build, because Glow Meta Glow does kinetic damage. No, it does not. I fucking lied. But it does benefit Nothing Beats Lead, where a portion of our elemental damage is converted into kinetic damage. Damage converted in this way is increased. So yeah, the more elemental damage we are dealing, which is our main weapon choice. And to get there, we will be getting War Wagon for infinite ammo. We deal kinetic damage. We refill our ammo from our reserve, so which is going to be all the time, thanks to Nothing Beats Lead converting all of our elemental damage into kinetic damage. So kind of a no-brainer here. Plus, we need to get down this tree, so might as well get infinite ammo while we're at it. And 2 out of 3 into Pale Rider, just to get down to Nothing Beats Lead. Now to the right, we will be going 5 out of 5 to Unshaken, simply because we lose a stack, we gain damage. It's pretty self-explanatory. It'll round up to like a 50% damage increase. We're losing stacks all the time, so kind of a no-brainer. Plus, we need to get down the tree so we can get from Gloam to Gleam, which is the whole point of this build, where, you know, again, it's a good way to get Overshield, because a portion of all damage we are dealt from enemies is going to be converted into Overshield, and when we lose a Fortress stack, that damage will be applied to our guns, which is based off of our Overshield. So the bonus damage reads, oh my god, bonus damage, 160% of current Overshield. You know how insane that is? If you get like 5 out of 5 from your class mod, I think this rounds up to tripling your DPS. I do think it does, but mine is 3 out of 3, which is already a lot of damage. Essentially doubling everything we're pumping out. So yeah, get this skill. And 1 point into Dusty Trail, because with the build, there's a chance where your windfall chance, you're not getting any more fortune stacks. So to fix that, you slide, you lose some stacks, you get it right back with our this skill right here, which we'll get to it in a moment. By doing that, we just get our windfall right back. So yeah, really good interaction there. And now moving on to the green tree here, which is gonna consist of some support skills, so let's just get into it. We're gonna be going 5 out of 5 into Sweet Roll for that, you know, survivability increase, because when we're throwing out our dices, which is all the time thanks to this skill here, Dealer's Bluff. By doing that, we just gain a lot of Overshield, and this will help maintain our Gloam to Gleam skill, which, you know, again, Overshield, we have damage. Moving down, we're going to be putting some points into O4 not maxing it out, just to get some increased windfall chance. Windfall is pretty important because when you enter it, we gain a lot of increased damage. And again, that's going to multiply with Gloam to Gleam. And, from Gleam to Glow! Who named that skill? Yes, we will be getting this. We want to enter Windfall as constantly as possible. This skill helps a lot with that. And while we're here, we'll put some points into Red Moon Rising, simply because when our Windfall is active, which is all the time with this build, we gain bonus fire damage, which will be converted into kinetic damage. Again, another way to buff the ever-living shit out of Nothing Beats a Lead. Then we're gonna get Devil's Tines again, simply because we need that extra augment slot for... this is about here. And then 3 out of 5 into Bone Meal Ticket, simply because when we're throwing out our dices, we want to keep them up, right? So, you know, we're killing a lot of enemies all the time. Kill skill. When we kill an enemy, restore action skill duration and restore their health. So we're getting this to maintain our tomes, essentially. So good quality of life there. And these two skills right here are going to be our supporting skills, which is going to enable us to debuff enemies and buff ourselves in this case. 1 point into Can't Stop Winning, simply because, well, we gain that extra 2% crit chance, but that's not important. What is important, however, is when we are critically hitting enemies, we gain a chance to enter Windfall. Now, we don't know what this chance is, right? But 1 point, and we're, fucking 2 shots and we enter Windfall? Again, the point is, it's very easy to enter Windfall if you put 1 point into Can't Stop Winning. I don't know what the percentage is, it doesn't state it on the card, but all I know is that it's a pretty easy way to enter Windfall constantly. So, yeah, we need this skill. And over here to the right is Accursed Bones, which is mainly here because we want to jinx our enemies. What is jinx, you may ask? Oh my. Jinx enemies take increased damage from all sources and deal decreased damage. We don't care about the decreased damage part. What we care about is increased damage from all sources, which is 20%. And that is a lot of... that is a huge damage increase. Tied that together with our God Killer firmware, that is going to round up to 30% damage. And for the blue tree, it's going to be Alchemy. I feel like this is going to be in every single cash build you see on YouTube nowadays. But when we apply an elemental effect, which is going to be all the time, thanks to our skill here, which bumps up those odds quite a ton. When we apply an elemental effect, we gain a stack of fortune. This is again just another easy way to maintain our fortune stacks. So yeah, that's the gist of it. So the augments for the spec here, we're going to be rocking the Heavenly Sevens, Mighty Nine, and the Dirty Dozen. And first up, it's going to be Heavenly Sevens, because when we roll sevens, we get Protector Totems, which will be giving us fire rate increases and reload speed increases. And this is going to be based off of our shield, which we have a lot of, so again, huge damage increase here. Second is going to be Mighty Nine. Now, we don't really get any real damage increase from this. The only real benefit we do get from Mighty Nine is going to be the, whenever we kill an enemy, restore duration to all our other active totems. And this is just a nice way to keep up our totems. So yeah, nothing really special about this. And our third augment is going to be Dirty Dozen. Now, I've explained the Fortune Stack interaction already, so I'm not going to go over that here. But the Chaos Totem, now this is something, you know, many or some may not know. But when you do roll a 12, you get a Chaos Totem. Now, what Chaos Totems do is that they draw cards from your deck. Now, you don't need to be spec'd into those augments to get the cards. It could be any card. It could be Big Pull. It could be Bet on Red. It could be Sweet in the Pot. Now, the only real card we're going to see any benefit from is going to be Sweet in the Pot. Main reason is because when you roll Sweet in the Pot, your guns are going to deal bonus elemental damage. And this can stack up to twice, because when you enter Windfall, you gain an additional random element. Now, why this is good is because, again, element damage is going to be converted into kinetic damage. So, if you happen to get lucky and roll 12s, your damage will spike. So again, a luck character. Same could be said for your Heavenly Sevens. If you roll a 7, damage increase. If you roll a 12, damage increase. Again, a luck character. So that's all I can really say about the augment tree, or the augment section. To get extra slots, again, we are getting both of the Devil's Tines here. So yeah, that's about it. And with the specialization spec, we will be using the best defense for when our shields and healths are full. We deal 30% more damage, which is, you know, all the time. So yeah, get this. And riddle you this for that 50% stacking damage buff. Bullet train for some quality of life, so we can, you know, sprint while shooting. And I wasn't able to spec down to contamination. I didn't have enough points. I was trying to get this build out as fast as, you know, as I could because of the algorithm. So I just opted for CQC, where if you throw, you know, if we deal melee damage, we gain increased fire rate. Melee damage, we get that from our Slippy Grenade, which does melee damage on impact, so nice way to get some more fire rate. Other than that, just spec the rest of your points into Brute, get some more gun damage, or into Killer, get some more crit damage, you know, really up to you. But the main 2 pointers are best defense and riddle you this. So that's about going to sum it up for the build video. If you like what you saw in this video, make sure you like and subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you that watch these videos and find some enjoyment out of them. But that's going to be it from me. I'm trying to not fall into my like script here. But yes, that's going to be it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.